Is it working now? Oh, so it should be working now. Just let me try to open my YouTube channel. Yes, it is working now. Very nice. Very good. I need to change this thumbnail. No, it's not made for kids. This live stream is not for kids. So how do I change? There it is. Upload thumbnail. Save. Stream will stutter. I need a new mouse. This mouse wheel is broken. Let me copy this here. Copy. I don't know, man. Okay, so these are the changes I want to go with, or I want to do for today. I will try to do as much as I can. I have around it's 10 a.m. right now, 10:15 a.m. So I have like 2 more hours before it's 12. Then I will probably go to sleep, or have to go somewhere. So I'll do my best. So first I have to finalize the entity component system. I did the base entity last time. I haven't done anything other than what I did on the last live stream. So where is it? Yeah, there it is. Here is our entity. I'm not sure if I have to call on create entity here. Is it right? Sealed? No. Yeah, I don't do that here. Okay. So whenever an object is created using the base object class, I have to do something like this here and create entity. Is it even needed? Show member call and constructor. Yeah, I don't think we have to do we have to do this. Why is this even here? On destroy entity, destroy. Yes, this should be called here. On create entity will have to be called where do we call it? On create entity, maybe in the spawned method. Tracks is really not the best place to put such function calls in, so it will have to be instantly called after this object is instantiated. I'll also have to where is it? Yeah. I think I will just put this here and make it number 2, then this for number 3, or never mind, this will be number 6, this will be 7. Okay. Oh, 7. Damn, I'm stupid. This will be 4, this will be 3. Yes. So reset handlers is like we reset all handlers for all for for fuck, I'm sorry, for all of our events, custom events. So we just reset any handlers. This is called whenever you use portals. For example, here switch instances when you go between maps, worlds. If you enter a new area, this will not be called. This is only called when you enter a new map. Maybe even will be called when we switch servers. So here we don't have to call on destroy entity. What else do I have to do? I forgot again. Yeah, finalize. So I'll have to do some testing. Tasks. Yeah, not this. Tests. Map. I don't know. Maybe. Mm, this will be needed. Anyway, how do I get started now? Is anyone chatting? No one is chatting. Network is struggling. Why is my network struggling? You may either lag or show as offline. No, my internet is just fine. Okay, so I'll just do it here. And create entity. Okay, this should be it. But except that I never use this where T is game object type. Oh, okay. So I never use this method. So I'll have to start using the factory game object factory. I'll also have to implement game object pools and some more stuff for optimization. So this is the NPC class. See, it handles everything: accept a request, abandon quest, decline quest, complete quest, and purchase, sell. There is also the refresh option. This was added so I can have real-time NPC items, so I can just update some data in the database and have new items appear in the shop. is it shop or chop? I hate this. And Google Translate is not working again. Never mind. Also, NPCs do have skills. They can cast skills. Cast, yeah, cast skills. See, if you attack an NPC, they'll just kill you. See this damage instant spell? Where is the yeah, the target projectile? Where is the damage? Skill data. Where is the skill? Oh, yeah, I just yeah. Take damage, skills, first skill, and request skill cast action. We never call this function directly. This function is called by the instance manager, combat manager. See, combat manager calls this function, but we can we can just tell this object to cast a skill. The instance manager will not know if this object started casting a skill, or it will not know if this object can cast a skill. So at some point you will have to I will have to refactor this function as well, and remove all switches. I need to get rid of all of this. Maybe make something like a dictionary, something like this. Game action. Something like this will be much better to handle, much better to maintain. So instead of just going through case switching, switch case, it looks really ugly. So I'll just have to clean that up later. And yeah, that should be it. Let's just comment that out and find an error in this extensions component. No. Okay, let's start implementing entities. Split big classes into multiple components. I'll just do some testing. Unit testing, advanced network. Yeah, I did network testing. There's the packet receiver. You get packets, you give it the bytes and size. It will parse all the packets. Parse fuck. It will return all the packets in this array. Then you can start parsing all these different data. I will take this, copy, go here, create a new class. You can see me creating a new class. I'll call it entities test. Yes. Public static void start. Great. On instance action, this is the handler for any action that happens within this instance. Any action: move, spawn, exit. You get the idea. This is a private instance, so only this player, or in the future this player and his guild mates or party members, can enter this specific instance. So we can just create this private instance and teleport all these players into it, so they all have their own version of this map. Okay, this is what I do here. Entities dot start. Great. And comment this. Let me see. Console right line. Oh, this is not spawning entity and the entity ID, unique ID. ID and unique ID are two different things. ID is the ID of this object, the model ID. So every object has its own 3D model, and they are all identified by some sort of ID. All IDs are UINT. Instance action dot action type object dot unique ID. Let's do this. Console right line despawning object ID. Here we don't send back the object reference, I object reference. We just send the object ID, and the client has to do some has to search for the game object in the scene with this name. All game objects are spawned like this in Unity. Game object instantiate model transform, then object name equals object UID. So after when an object exits this instance, we just have to find some we have to do some calls like this: game object dot find, and we find an object with the same ID if the game object isn't null. If we found an object with this ID, we just destroy game object. That's it. That's how we destroy game objects. Also, the instance manager is responsible for handling resetting the events and not listening on any events for this object we're despawning. So if this object despawns from the instance, it's gone forever. It can be respawned. So once you're gone forever. You have to re-enter the instance, go through the spawn process, and so on. I will just run this. How do I set it as default? How do you set this as default? Oh, it's here. No, it's not here. What? Um, I have no idea, but I'll just debug. Yeah, spawning entity. This is the entity ID, and this is the spawn action. This action is always sent to all players nearby players. So if I'm in area with the ID 1, I'll just get the area. Where is it? Map. Oh, I need to make it a static member. Create other, create field map. Yes, I do this. See, map, get area, object, area ID, dot broadcast dynamic action, and I broadcast this action to all game objects in this area. So all game objects will have will receive this specific action. Then the game object, this broadcast dynamic action is not sent over the network. It's just sent between the objects on the server. So the server objects know what spawned near them. Maybe for monsters, they can like, where is it? Yes, it can be here. We can do something like this. Override dynamic action. Oh wait, dynamic interaction. Is it dynamic? Yeah, dynamic interaction. We can do switch interaction case game action if arguments dot oh param object arguments dot param object game action will be oh not the oh game action will be params object export I game action. So since we're basically sending this iGame action reference directly to all game objects in this area, we can just export the iGame action and do something like this. If game action type equals spawn parse spawn object, we do this game action that dot game object spawned object equals, then we just have all the information we need about this object that spawned in the same area as us. This monster can then call some AI component, start search, or do something like this. Possible target spawned object dot unique ID. Tell this AI component if it's an aggressive monster, it can be searching for nearby targets. We just feed it more information till this target just spawned near us. We can possibly attack it. Then it starts doing AI calculations. Look if it's attacking target at the moment. If it's not, then it will start following this object. And if this object has some kind of invincibility, this can interact, will be false. If we can't interact with this object, we can't attack it. we go back. So many things we can achieve with this dynamic interaction system. Just not with this switch. We have to get rid of the switch and the arguments. It's I have no idea how I'm going to get rid of the arguments for the dynamic interaction. There's the dynamic keyword here, and I can't use dynamic keyword for the parameters because it's not supported by Unity and some other C# engines. So I'll just give up on using the dynamic keyword. Anyway, back to our entity system. So I'm just going to test if the entity system is working as it should. This object should be updating its entity components. So I'll create a new component, basic component here, basic wandering component, I game component. Yes, unattach. This component is attached to our entity. We just set private entity game entity. Equals null. Console.writeLine updating basic wandering component. Console.writeLine attached basic wandering component to entity. We don't have an entity ID. What? Entity ID will have to be the unique ID for the you know, the thing. Entity ID. Then we'll do this. Pretty basic. We do this here, and it will be what? How am I gonna? How am I? How do I do this? Unique ID is generated here, and interesting. So I can use 0 and do entity ID equals unique ID. This looks bad, but I'm going to use it anyway. It doesn't matter at this point. I'll have to change a lot of things later. Okay, so player add component basic move of wandering component. No errors, please. Yes. Add attached basic wandering component to our game object. Great. Awesome. Okay, so and need this to be sealed. It's never instantiated. Yeah. Why do you care? Update. So this component is never updated. Why is that? Update components, game component, console.writeLine, updating game count components. So update components is never called. That means update is never called. Why is that? Hold on, I know why. This method doesn't call update. No, it does. Oh, weird. Then why is it not updating? Maybe it's the area. So right line updating object unique ID. Okay, so our area is not updating our game objects. Area is not updating our game objects. How do we fix that? Initialize map. Oh, shit. I forgot. My bad. Thread equals new thread. I'll just create a new thread game loop while true. Oh, I don't have to break anything. No, don't even have to return. While map dot initialized map. I need the instance. Wait, do I update instances? Instance dot update. Yes, I do have an update for instances. Instance. Anyway, instance dot update and give it the time, which is fixed 0.1 float. So is that every frame? Thread start thread on background true. Let's see. Yes, it's working great. Updating one components and b object entities, remove and remove this. It's consuming a lot of CPU. Why is that? Maybe because I have a while loop running. Smart. Oh, it's 12% 12% CPU, 13, 14. I have to make some update limits here. So it's like how do I do it? I have weird internet connection. Is my internet even working? Hello? It says my ping is 300, but I can't open anything. I'll just have to find it somewhere on my drive. World server. main.cs net server. Oh, last frame. I'll just have to do something like this. If frames 13 equals 3 equals 0, I'll have to do what? What do I have to do now? Add 30 frames in here. Sleep 1 millisecond. Does this work? Yes, it does. Great. I'll make it 60. Let me build. I'll test this method. Okay, now it's taking 0.1, 0.2, 0.4 maximum of CPU. I'm now running on my i7 8700K. It's 4.6 gigahertz. This is really nice. Okay, great. Now let me try to make this work. Private wandering time. Wandering time equals, we have to wander every 5 seconds. Private float time left equals 0. If time left minus time equals 0, wander this is percentage to isn't this the E as Abelson? Oh, I'll just play some music. Christmas music.
This Christmas I wish for one gift.
Oh, it's not.
That I could do me
It's not.
and no one
It's not what I was looking for. I was looking for like multiple zeros. Anyways,
This Christmas I wish to be known as the goat of the flow and the rhymes from the depths of the dome, and the guy that can spit it quick, full of synonyms, and the guy that can rap it really slow. Speaking to the people, hear no, see no, be no evil. Painting pictures with my words, this pens my brush, this tracks my easel, and I do it with ease. Move to the beat, doing whatever I please. Say what I want, grooving their feet, moving your mind every time that I speak. Call me corny, all you want, Kentucky, man, don't stop, 'cause when you put that heat under a kernel, boy, you know it pops. All this fame's been kinda new since I started to use my tongue. People tell me I'm a nuisance, like Houston problems have come. Maybe I should make a nuisance, I plan to hang till I'm numb, but I got nuisance I ain't prayed for and I ain't taking a plunge. This Christmas I wish
OpenRPG instance manager.
I said this Christmas I wish the world would just quit judging me for things I've done and listen to say Christmas. I said this Christmas I wish, this Christmas I wish, this Christmas I wish that they would zip their lips. I said this Christmas I wish, this Christmas I wish, this Christmas I wish they'd listen to say Crips. No one notices your tears. Nope. No one notices your pain.
I'll have to add some kind of method to get just the game object directly with the ID.
I ain't got time for these people that acting so friendly, but behind my back they're not. I'm just focused on my own vision. 2020 is the perfect time to plot. I gotta cut off the baggage that's weighing me down, and I gotta do it quickly. And I won't feel bad for outgrowing people that had a chance to go with me. Cause I am tired of rowing a boat with my bros, but when I am not looking, they drilling some holes. And when we start seeking, they pointing their fingers at everyone's face, but they own. And I'm scared of being alone, so I let toxic people join my journey. But I gotta stop myself, Crip. You can't drink that poison cause you're thirsty, man. I gotta learn my lesson. Gotta learn my lesson. Time to learn them hard. Time to learn them hard. Wanted to make some new memories, but my memories turn to scars. Never keep my circle few. Cause that's a safe thing to do. Safe thing to do. Fake people don't surprise me anymore. Real people do. Real people do. This Christmas I wish for one gift that I could do me and no one opens their lips. I said this Christmas I wish the world would just quit judging me for things I've done and listen to say
This is an instant
this Christmas I wish, this Christmas I wish, this Christmas I wish that they would zip their lips. I said this Christmas I wish, this Christmas I wish, this Christmas I wish they'd listen to say Crips.
If instance isn't equal to null, find our game object in the instance, in the map of this instance. Object, just obj instance dot yes, map get objects, object from map. Yes, find the object in the entire map. So I'll just have to find this object in the entire map. Okay, great. I don't think I will have to do this. I'll just... Why am I even doing? If I'm using link, might as well just use link. That made no sense. Instances, first or default. Get map has object in map, unique ID. What does this return? This returns the of the area. Okay, it doesn't matter. Isn't equals to -1. Okay, map dot object from map unique ID. We'll have to use conditional access. This should do it. But first we need to use cache. Cache? Is it cache or cache? Cached instances dot add dot any unique ID new cached instance. I'll just get this instance. If instance isn't equal to null, we just continue. If it's equal to null, we just return null. or even better, we just object equals null. We just return object. So we create this cache entry instance dot object in map, get map instance get map, get object from map unique ID. So I got this object. If object equals null isn't equal to null, if this is a valid object and it exists within this map, we continue to add cache object dot area ID instance. Great. Should probably use object dot unique ID. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. So this will happen if we don't have any cached instance with this object in it. If we don't have any instance with this object, we just proceed to get a new instance reference, check if it's null, then get the object from the map and check if it's null, add a new cache instance. But if we do have an instance, we just get this instance like this, instance workplace, do this cached instances first or default, unique ID equals unique ID, instance isn't equal to null, object equals to instance dot instance. Oh, nice. Get map object from map unique ID. Oh, that was nice. I don't think we should return here. Just cancel this. I'm hoping this would work. Maybe not. Game object equals to instead of using this, I will use the game object reference received. I'm really hoping this would, yeah, as expected. Huh, nice. If no object, does this even make a difference? I think it's the same. Yes, it is. It is the same. So what is happening here is this object is attached to this entity, to this entity before the entity goes to a new instance. I mean, I don't know if I, yeah. So when we created this instance, we still haven't spawned this object yet. This object is not in this instance yet. So if we move this here, it will definitely work. Oh shit, I spoke too soon. Oh, don't do that to me. please. What's the issue? What's the issue? Debug. Yes, expression will always be false. Object is null. Oh, this is stupid. If any object with the same ID exists. So, if there is no objects with the same ID. Oh, nice. Great. So, this is null, I guess. Return first row default. I.getMap. Let me try this. Console checking instances dot count instances. Okay, so the instances is definitely there. Definitely there. And what if I do this instances dot first get map get default area game objects count. Could this work? So instance is there and the object is there. What's causing it to return null? Default area has object. So the object is in this area. So why is this null? I log the areas. First or default area ID. Oh, I returned the area ID. Oh, no. What? This shouldn't be an issue, really. Just stop debugging. Area ID is area ID. Turn equal to -1. So area ID is not equal to -1. Then what is the issue? Why is this null? If instance null, it is null. Line instance is null. No, it's not null. What? Wait. Yes, instance is not null. Okay, so instance is working just fine. just stop popping up. Okay, so I remove this. Oh, not this. This. Instance get map object from map. So object from map is null. Object from area, object in map. Okay. Then object from area, get game object, unique ID. This is weird. Object from map, getting object from area. This should not return null. This should never return null. Yes, it shouldn't return null. It returns an object, even the character type, the player type. Then why is it null? Object. Oh wait, it's not null. What? What the fuck? What if, bro? Why no work? This is all weird. Move, and I'll just do this. Random tile will be game object, get map, random node. Center is my game object. Dot movement position to vector. Oh, never mind. I can use this. Float range. Say 10. Random tile. Movement request. Also, movement request random tile will be tile dot position vector 3 random tile position vector 3 random tile dot tile. How do I vector 3 dot empty position vector 3. So player should start moving right away. Attached. Why is it not moving? Oh, not this. Not like this. Not like this, brother. What? Just fuck off, man, with this math apps bullshit. Time left. Minus time. Yes. Yes. See? Movement tech. State update. Stopped. This is how it works. But it's doing it. Every 5. One, two, three, 4, 5. Hello. This is not every 5 sec. Oh, it's because I have the um, what is it? Damn, I don't have the delta time. I have fixed delta time. I have to do this. Last frame equals datetime.now minus last frame total milliseconds. Is it total seconds or milliseconds? Total seconds, maybe? I have no idea. Cast. Oh, I need to cast float. Does does this will this fix it? I'm not sure. So it's moving. Now I wait 5 seconds and it's moving again. Now 5 more seconds. It's moving. 5 more. Yes. So it moves every 5 seconds, just as expected. Now I can do a lot of amazing things with this instance event manager add handler. So I can listen to game actions. I can add handlers for game actions. I can specify the object type or the object ID. So I will have to unique ID, and the owner of this event, the owner of this handler is myself. So I'll give it the same unique ID. Oh, not generate unique ID. What? Game object dot unique ID. Area will be game object dot area ID, and of course the handler for this event. It will be here. Private void handle event handle move action. I object is move request. Is do I return movement combination or movement request? On movement request, yes, I return movement combination. This should be movement data. I don't have I have no idea why I called this movement combination. Handle move action. Handle wait. I thought this was supposed to be how it's working. World not this. Default world AI advanced monster AI. Yes, I have to specify the handler type here. The return type here is movement combination. Yes, and the move action. Awesome. So I'll do this. Move action handler triggered. Movement not moving player to movement position tile 2 tile and give it this tile. Oh, it's working. See, every time it's getting a random tile. This time it's 5:15, and it keeps moving until it stops. 5 more seconds, and it's moving to a new tile. And it's moving again, and again, and again, and again. It keeps moving every 5 seconds. Yep. So this wandering, wandering, wandering component is working like as I expected. Game entity. We don't really use the game entity. I'm not sure if we will use game entity. We can implement something like Unity's ECS, where components only have some kind of data. Then they start jobs. They schedule jobs like systems. They then systems do the movement logic. They do the game logic. It's all it's all good and fun, but I personally don't like the component system. I just like to handle my logic inside the component itself. So I'm gonna try this. Let's Yes, it doesn't work. See, yes, show me the error. Add handler, new handlers. I have no idea why this failed. Oh, it failed to get this game object. So I have to call this on attach event when the entity is created. So when the entity is spawned, I just call the on attach method. I have no idea if I should do that, but this looks mm, 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 mm. See, I have a new idea for this. We can add some kind of method 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 here. Call it something like on spawn on this. When this entity spawns in the world, we just call on spawn public void on spawn for each game component and game component on spawn this. When this object spawns, we just call on spawn here void on entity spawn. No, on spawn entity. We have to keep that that naming pattern. Oh, what? doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So what else do I have? What else do I have to call here? Spawned, yes, spawned. Spawn, what? Is this even used? I don't think it is. So when an object is spawned, we just call the spawn method. Respawned, yes, we call spawned again. I don't, I don't know if I should call spawned again. Maybe just reassign tiles, do some do something else instead of just calling the spawned method again. Anyway, so I will do this on spawn entity base. So I move this to here. Yep, this will be much better. So I can do something like this. Where is it? Where, yes, entities test. So I can go in here and add all my basic components for this game object. So I can just assign all my components here in the constructor, and they will wait for the player to spawn. We'll also do something like this. Come here, create some new properties. Attached, spawned. This entity is already in the somewhere in the on the in the map. Wait, this leaks client open. Okay. So when it's spawned, I'll just do this. Spawn equals true. And when it's attached, what 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 is that doing here? Yes, spawned. Just spawned. And in my what is it? Yes, in my basic wandering component, I just do this. See if entity spawned. Oh, not here. So I just assign this after calling the onSpawn method on all my components, on all my game components. So they will, if I don't want to reassign all of this, you know, assign the event handler, I do something like this. If entity dot entity ID equals my game object's unique ID, if nothing has changed, I just return. But if something has changed, I just go back and reassign all of this, create new event handlers, and do my thing. So what else did I want to do? Yes, move this. There was something I wanted to do. Yes, make this private. Never make this public. Protected. Yes, protected. Protected should be way better. Remove this and remove this. So this will make my components enable to update public variables. Entity ID. We can do that. Okay. So it's just a safety check. We can, however, manipulate game components on this entity. So we can have this component remove itself from the entity. See, I will do a basic check. Wandering private int wandering counter equals 0. Wandering counter plus plus. So I will do this here. If wandering counter equals 5, no, I will do 2 for 10 seconds. If I wandered twice, one in after the object spawns immediately, and 2 is the after waiting 5 seconds. So I will have to wander twice in 5 seconds. Once after I immediately spawn, and the second time after waiting for 5 seconds. So if wandering counter is 2, I'll just do this. Entity, game entity. Remove component, this. And this component will just get removed. We will have to make some debugging text. Component, basic wandering component was detached from entity ID. Let's see if that works. I'm hoping it does. So it wanders one more time, and on the third time, yep, see this? The component was deleted and it's no longer being updated. And we can do something like this. See, pool enabled. If this component is enabled, we can update it. If it's not, we can just skip it. So if we have a component that needs to be to stop updating, stop calling this method for a while, for example, if our AI component is engaging in combat, we don't need this. We will not need the update method. We just use events and listen on excuse me, and we listen on game events. So if my AI is in combat with a player, we just wait until one of us dies and decide to set this back to true, or just leave it to false. What else do we have to do? I think that's it. Yes. This right here is kind of looking bad. Not that bad really, but base game component. I just like to have base classes, you know, just so I'm not forced to have all of these methods at once. So if I have a component that does some math uh, in the update method, I don't need this on spawn or on attach, on detach, on enabled, you know, these kind of methods. So it will be this will be abstract. All components have to handle updates, game updates, and this will be virtual. This will have to be abstract. You can't instantiate this class. You can only inherit from this class. I think I've been streaming for around 1.5 hours. Is it 1.5 hours or not? Yes. Is my internet okay? I'm having weird crashes. My internet is completely down. I can't browse the internet. I can't open Google. Google Chrome is completely frozen. I'll try to use my phone. See, make sure I'm not talking to myself here. I'll try to use my phone. See, make sure I'm not talking to myself here. Okay, great. It's live. Awesome. So, what else do we need to do? Yes, we need two more methods on enable. Do I have to do identity? You know what? I'll just keep it on disable identity. Oh, what? I don't think. Yes. I'll just keep it. I'll just keep on enable and on disable. For I'll just keep the entity parameter. So I'll do this with backing field. So get and set if enabled on enable entity. See, I have to do this like this. I have to do it like this. Entity set. Yes, get set. Oh, this will be here. Oh, this will be here. Yes. So if enabled, else on disable, and pass on the entity. On detach, entity equals null. If entity equals null, return don't do anything. If our component is detached, is this right? Yes it is. Okay. I'll be game component public override void public override. I don't need this. See what I meant? I don't need the on attach method. So now I have to comment all of these methods called in this component is enabled. Called when this component is disabled. Do I need to do some kind of like method set active bool enabled? Yeah, maybe. Yes, maybe. Called when this entity is spawned into the world. Maybe maybe I'll have something like maybe I'll just change this I entity to I object and base on the object reference instead of just going through all of this game object equals some function get object, yeah, and instead of doing all of this maybe I'll just do some kind of wrapper for this method so I can do something like this: add handler, my return type, and my game action. You know what, there is no need to do a wrapper for this. It's pretty straightforward, and it's just really big. See this? I need to cut this and make it like this. So add handler will call this add handler. You know what? I'll just do it later. Maybe maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just keep it like this. Anyway, where is it? On spawn, yes. I object set active, yeah, enabled equals enabled. Great. What do we have here? You can perform action handling within this method. You can also perform instance operations, specific operations safely within this method. Called when this component is first added to the entity. Doesn't necessarily this how you write necessarily. Can you typo? Yes, that's it. So mean your entity spawn. Null reference errors called in this component is destroyed dash from this entity. Called every frame with um, a fixed time component state. True equals update every frame. False equals update. Game entity component is attached to I object game object this component is attached to no. Yes. Remove these methods and go back here. Initialize from constructor, no. Protected set game object equals entity. Great. On attach. Awesome. This looks much better than having all logic here. I object. So I don't need any of this. I can just do this. Entity id equals game object. Remove all this. Man, this looks much better. I don't have to do any of this. Just call the base function. What is it called? Based on detach entity. Based on spawn entity. Always call base. Always call base functions. Methods in this case. Or functions, both are correct. Okay, now I'll have to test this enabled, disabled thing. On spawn entity I object what is it? I object. This looks just fine. This. Okay, so right. What can I do? I can do. I would like to test this. let's just go back to my base entity. If game object, oh, game component enabled, just update. If it's not enabled, just give up. Don't update this. What else do we have here? What do I have? Oh, here I can create a timer, new timer. Yes, testing the timers. Timer the interval. Make that 5 seconds. Elapsed. Re-enable. I'll call it re-enable. Enabled equals true. Timer dot start and timer dot auto reset equals false. So don't restart automatically. Wait until I give you the start signal. Sender dot dispose. I don't need this timer anymore. So it's just a one-time thing. I will have to implement custom timers, so I can just do create timer 500 and my callback method, and it's 11:52. So I guess I will have to go in 5 minutes, maybe less. Alright, so let's try this. Let's try this. Start debugging. Now I have an issue. It's not even working. Yes, because game components are disabled by default. Protected the game component enabled equals true. Yes, so it's working now. Great. The third time it will not update until 5 more seconds. Oh, I'll make it 10. I'll make it 10 seconds just to make sure it's working, because 5 seconds overlaps with the wandering time. This is the second time it ran. Okay, it should wait 10 more seconds before running. 3, 2, 1, 0. Yes. Okay. So this re-enable function is definitely working. Console right line disabling component log bottle hazard. Yes, disabling component. Re-enabled component. See that? And it waits 5 more seconds and goes back to the wandering loop. Okay, so this should be everything for finalizing the I mean, not really everything. I'll have to do some multi-threading for the components, though multi threading exists in the extensions uh, library. So I have no idea how I'm going to do this. I might just move the task system to the core library. Um, Globals. I'll also have to refactor some of the folders here, naming, etc. And this world, 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 world configuration file. I'll have to delete it. I don't want it. Packages configuration. Yeah, I use Unity's Newton soft.json for reflection reasons. Unity IL to C++ had has some issues with the reflections, so I just have to use the Unity version of Newtonsoft. It can be found on the asset store. I got it from there. Though I can go and fix the latest version of Newtonsoft, or even use a custom version. I just want to get rid of Newton soft JSON altogether, so I don't have to do map serialization with JSON. It really takes a very long time to load a map, maybe 2 to 3 seconds to load a full map, and it's not that big. The map is like 192 192 tiles multiplied by 192. So how many tiles is that? Yeah, basically 37,000 tiles. Takes 3, maybe 4, 5 seconds to load 37 tiles. That is very long time. So I'll just have to get rid of this serialization method. I'll still use it for my UI user interface, but I'm not using it for map. I'm just using it for maps at the moment, just to save me some time. Later I'll have to make custom formats and just, yeah, just do some more work with the serialization. This network utility is really not needed. See all of this reflection, all of it is not needed. I rewrote this a while ago. This is not really reflection, if I have to say. This is just, yeah. But I rewrote this whole thing in a new project for networking. Hold on, I will show you. I'll need it to switch scenes. Create your own scene. Yes, create my own scene. Where is writer? Hello. Which scene I'm in? Never mind. It doesn't matter. I'll just show you later. It's not. It's not even uh, that that what? It's not really something we should get into as of now. So I only have 5 days until the new year. I'm hoping I could finish all of this this entire list, splitting the base object class into multiple components. So I'm just going to get rid of this damage. These methods will stay the same, but handling the logic damage the damage logic will be in a different component. Also, this what is it? Uh, yeah, I'll just have to split all of this into different components just to stay on the safe side. This doesn't look very good at the moment. 400 lines is really bad for a base class. So yeah, I guess it's 12 a.m. p.m. now. What's taking a lot of lines here? Is it this? How many now? 370. I need some kind of um, uh, I need components to handle the stats, verify stats, has stat, has what, apply stat, apply stat modifier, remove stat modifier, update stat, and what else? Spawned, what? Add new keyword. Why is this already here? Oh shit. Entity spawned. I'll make it entity spawned. Just so it doesn't get confused with this spawn method. Just to avoid having, you know, naming issues. Is in movement state. Checks if I'm chasing, stall, or casting, dead, teleporting, chopping, interacting. Interacting can be anything, like riding a ride bet, or what else? Uh, I have no idea now. Yeah, so stop moving. See, all of this combat com combat combat methods. Combat. Who killed Captain Alex? All of these methods will have to be removed. I have to get rid of them. So maybe I'll keep some of them, but not everything will be kept here. The class, as you can see, is just really large. This this the- these nice English. These methods, entity spawned methods. These methods, uh, which ones? Yep, I had two methods here. They were not needed at all. When I first started coding this class, I just had no idea how big it will be, so I never thought about the component system. I just put everything together and started coding. See, I also had health points, mana points, physical defense, magical defense, strength, intellect. These are all not needed. Now we have this stats list. See the stats list? Here it is. B player. Yep. There it is. Look at this. Strengths, intellect, agility, durability, health, mana, max health, max mana, physical defense, magical defense. We have buffs, debuffs, skill trees. Every skill tree has its own ID, level, max level, skills, acquired points. If it's available, we can disable skill trees with this boolean. So instead of just deleting it, we can just disable it, and it won't show up on the UI user interface. There is also the Blair inventory, and I initialize inventory here. Add stats from the equipped items. Then I check if the items are equipable, and yeah, use item this and get item slot. So use item is basically telling this item to if it's like a potion item in your equipment slot, it will get consumed. If it's equipment, it will get moved to an empty slot in your inventory. So I can hold on. Match. Oh, oh, I was talking to my dad. So I can just right click an equipment item, and it will get removed from the equipment slot. And the same goes for scrolls. There's alchemy, materials, quest items. There's also gold. Gold is an item, by the way. No, wait. Why is gold an item? Oh yeah, I have gold as an item because it drops. You know, when an item drops from a monster, gold is just an item. See that? This is the dynamic object, and I said dynamic objects. This is the dynamic object. Switch object. If the object is B item, and the where is item? Object. Yeah, object is the thing that we interact with. If the dynamic object is an item, base item, we check the item type. If it's gold, we just add gold to the player. See, buy gold. I need to have some limit to the gold. See, long 8 bits. I can 8 bits bytes. Yeah, bytes. Yes, it's 8 bytes. Bits. Damn, I feel stupid right now. So if it's gold, it will just add gold. If it's a basic inventory item, it will just add an item to your player inventory and give you some info about this item. See, dynamic interaction, picked item, item ID, item quantity, and if it's an NPC. See, I have no idea what this is. I have no idea. I have no idea why I have NPC as the as in as a dynamic object. Uh, Maybe I just forgot. Maybe I'm stupid. Yeah. Let me see. Yes, drop item. This is the monster death. See the damage. Also, we have something I forgot to talk about. Yes. See this? See that this owner ID? So it's basically like if I own this item, this dynamic object, I can click it, I can interact with it. If I click an item, this interact method would be called immediately. I can also get the object as a and cast it as a different type instead of just being an object. What else? Yes, so I drop gold, dynamic object, it's an item, and what else? What else? Yeah, nearby. Yeah, see this backup request. If you go anywhere in the map and press space, the space button, you just call this method, and this method finds all nearby objects. If your distance is within the interaction distance of the if of your character of your game object, if your distance to this item is less or equal to your interaction range and you own this item, you can interact with it. See? Yeah. Handle request interaction. See, this is also the NPC interaction. So whenever I request interaction, yes, there it is. I send the unique ID of the object I want to interact with, and if it's an NPC, it will get it the NPC will get the interaction method called. If it's an item or a default dynamic object, it will also receive this interaction call. What else do I have? What else do I have to show? Oh, shop interaction. See this? I have the interaction information as a struct. It had the shop ID, interaction type, the sell data. If you want to sell an item, why why this? Can I? Yeah, if you want to sell an item, you can do this and specify the interaction type and give it the sell data. And if you want to buy an item, you can give it the purchase purchase data 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 purchase data. However, I have no idea how to pronounce it. And if you want to get more information about a quest, you just send in the quest ID. It's as easy as that. What else do I have here? Systems reference game items. Reference game items is like a reference for all game items in the game. Eventually, I don't have I use JSON for it too. For all reference types, I use JSON, but I have serializable structs. So I'm not just using the iObject class and or base item class and serializing it. I just have custom structs for all game types. We can also generate tooltips from the reference object. So this reference object can also have the tooltip method. to work with. So if you have your NPC, it has these reference items. You don't need to get the base item to get a tooltip to display. Anyway, these are all this is all basic, very basic stuff, very basic stuff. This is the level 10 sword. It's not it's very powerful, as you can see. It gives almost everything, not really everything. Look at this. I still have a lot more: movement speed, invisibility, invulnerability, block rate, pluck, 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 pluck rate. I also have interaction, dynamic interaction types. These are the this is the interaction in them. When you kill a monster, when you pick an item, when you attack a player, when you're targeted by someone else. So you can have all different types of interactions. When a monster or another player targets you, just targeting you, uh, you get this notification. If you attack a monster, you get this notification. If you accept a quest, if you abort a quest, if you progress on a quest or complete a quest, if you buy an item, if you sell an item, if you enter a new area, if you leave an area, and of course the game action. This non thing is number 13, but yeah. So uh, these are all possible to use with quests. See, I still I think I do. I think I use them with quests. Oh, not here. Yes, here. See, killed monster has quest with this monster ID in it. This monster is the target for our quest. We also can specify the objective type. Is it to collect or die? You yourself die, not another player or monster. If it's to enter an area, if it's to kill an object, or other is like you have a custom quest handler. See this? Yes, quest script. On accept, on abandon, on progress, on complete, on requirements check, can display if this player has met the display requirements. So an NPC can just pass a player. When the player tries to interact with the NPC, it just uh, checks for all the quests that are available for this player. See how it works here. Where is it? Where is it? Yes, shop NPC. There is also portal NPC. They all go back to the default NPC. Default NPC has stats that can one shot you, one shot anybody. Game objects like NPCs, monsters, and any kind of game object can attack each other, can have battle. So it's not restricted for player versus NPC. There can be NPC versus NPC. So where what was I talking about? Yes, inventory to shop data. Oh, uh, every NPC has its own inventory. See it? It's here, right? And there's the NPC type, shop, portal, or guard. We can use guard to have them like in if you have heard of Conquer Online, they have guard NPCs where they stay on the entrance of all towns to prevent monsters from going in. You can just run to the guards and they will help you kill any monster, but you won't get anything in return. They will just vanish. Anyway, that should be it, and I guess I'll